Moving is stressful, and when you have an anxious dog, it can feel overwhelming in a whole new way. If you're moving or planning to with an anxious dog, I want to share what this transition actually looked like for us. I'm going to talk about the things that helped, the things that didn't, and the things that I would do differently next time. This will mark the 5th move for Auzzy. He's done quite a few. I got him in university, so he was traveling back and forth with me to home and school. So he's traveled a lot and done a lot of moves. I'm Elle, and this is my very anxious border collie, Auzzy. If you're new here, our content is basically life as an anxious girl with an anxious dog. We just moved into a new home, and as exciting as this was for me, for my dog, it's always a bit stressful. It's a lot for them, new smells, new sounds, new routines, new everything. It's important that we set them up for success and support them through this transition to make it as easy on them as possible. One thing I didn't fully appreciate before experiencing a move with an anxious dog was how truly debilitating this is for them. And especially with a breed like this, they thrive on routines, and when their routine is uplifted and changed, it really affects them. Auzzy also always has like a den or a safe place in our home, and when that is gone and it's changed, it's really hard for him to adjust and find a new place that he feels safe in. For anxious dogs, change can mean a loss of predictability, and predictability is what keeps them regulated. These up on the screen as well, but there's definitely some signs of stress that I've noticed with this move and that I've noticed in the past with other moves as well, and I think it's important that we're aware of what these signs really mean so that we don't push our dogs too far. As the owner of an anxious dog, I'm a true believer that body language is everything and tells us exactly what we need to know before they react. Pacing, being extra clingy, being unsettled. The unsettled part I particularly notice with Auzzy at night. He struggles to fall asleep and find a place to sleep, and the first few nights he was like coming in and out of our room constantly, so that's another thing that we are having to work through. I've actually been working on place a lot at the new house with his beds and just putting them in like a safe corner or a safe little den where he can go and hide away, and he knows that that is his safe place. Okay, now I'm going to go into before the move and things that we did to prepare for the move and prepare Auzzy for the transition. Before we even moved in, I focused on one thing in particular, and that was keeping things familiar for him. This meant packing his things separately and packing them last, even if that meant a few extra trips. We start packing weeks before we even move, and to take all of his things away and not let him have access to them for weeks is just horrible to me. So I don't do that, and I wait till the very last minute to pack up his bed, his toys, and all of his belongings that feel familiar to him. This helps to not drag out the stress and anxiety for a prolonged amount of time. We literally pack up his things the night before, and he gets them the day that we move in. So he's maybe without his toys and his bed for a night or a couple hours, but he gets them right back as soon as we're moved in. So we packed Auzzy's things last, and then once we got to the new house, we unpacked those things first. Beds, blankets, toys, anything that felt familiar to us or smelled like us. So as soon as we arrived on the first day, we laid out his beds. He has multiple. He has about 5 beds, so we laid out his beds all over the house, some downstairs and then some upstairs in our bedroom as well. We put his blankets out on the couch, we put his toy bin out, we spread out toys throughout the house so that it really felt like his and he was familiar with the items that were in the home. I really feel like this helps them adjust to their surroundings a little bit quicker and get used to the new home. And another little tip I'll put out here is that scent equals safety. If they can smell your smells or smell their own smells around the house, then it becomes familiar to them and it becomes a whole lot easier for them to adjust. So now I'm going to move into talking about the first 72 hours in the home, the first couple of days. Are you a little bit anxious? No? We're going to see your Grammy and Grumpy later. Do you want to go see your Grammy and Grumpy? If you've been following along, you know that he's super judgmental and gives me super funny facial expressions all day, so I just love talking to him and getting his reaction. You have something to say? Just something to say for the vlog? He says hi. So the first few days were all about decompression. No expectations. We didn't have any visitors over. There was no expectation for him to settle in quickly. We primarily focused on desensitization and desensitization alone. For anxious dogs, I truly feel like a few calm, quiet days really helps to regulate them and help them adjust. Constant play, new visitors, new sounds, all of that just really overstimulates them and can cause them to go into a bit of a spiral. I've experienced this in the past where I've had family come over and see the new house on the first few days, and I've just really noticed that this doesn't benefit him in any way, and that can wait for a few days until he's settled. He's very anxious right now. He's moving all over the place. You can go lay down. Do you want to go lay down? I truly treated these first few days like we just brought home a new rescue puppy. We had slow mornings, slow days, and I just gave him a lot of reassurance and enrichment, but enrichment that helped to calm him, not overstimulate him, and there is definitely a difference. Lick mats and puzzles are great because they help to work their brain and fulfill their needs while still keeping them calm and helping to tire them out a little bit. We didn't do any ball or fetch in these first couple of days. We focused on walks for exercise, but anything else just really overstimulated him. Keeping the same walk routines, feeding routines, bedtime routines, those were all super important to set him up for success in those first 72 hours and first couple of days. I truly can't stress this enough that routines are everything with our anxious dogs. And with an anxious border collie, that is particularly true. He thrives on routine, truly, and when his routine is gone, he's just lost. Even though the house was new, the structure stayed the same. Same walk times, same feeding times, same bedtime. This all just helped to give him some familiarity in this new space and new house. Remember, this is a big transition for them, even if they've done it before and it might not seem big to you. And next, it is so important to celebrate the small wins through a transition like this with an anxious dog. If I'm being honest, progress didn't look like, and probably won't look like for you, instant comfort. It looked like tiny wins and building up to those bigger wins. When Auzzy chose to relax or chose to sniff rooms calmly or would lie down on his own, this was a win for us. If you're in this phase right now too, please know that small progress is progress too, and you will get there. This phase is temporary and it doesn't last for long if you're able to set them up for success. If I were moving again with an anxious dog, which I probably will, but hopefully not for a while, these are a few things that I would do differently. I think instead of giving him access to go roam and explore the whole house, I would introduce one room at a time. I think this might make things a little less overstimulating and help him to adjust slowly and at his own pace. Once he got used to one room, then maybe we'd add in another room the next day or a few days later and so on. I think another thing that I would do is block off overstimulating areas and maybe only add a few toys at a time instead of giving him access to the whole toy box. I obviously want to still provide that familiarity, but I think that this would also help to reduce some overstimulation. For example, one area of the house that can be really overstimulating for Auzzy in particular is the kitchen. If we're in there cooking, both me and my partner, it can become a lot and there's a lot going on in there. And there's also a lot of new smells and everything. So that can become overstimulating. I might even block off the kitchen with baby gates or something and see if this helped in any way. Here's a reminder that if you're moving with an anxious dog, be gentle with them and kind to them, and be gentle and kind to yourself as well. You're not doing it wrong and they aren't either. It's just something hard and something that we have to work through. If you've moved with an anxious dog, I'd love to hear what helped you down in the comments. And if you're about to move with your anxious dog, I hope this helped, and let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to share down in the comments. And if you made it this far and you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We would be so appreciative and we love having you here. Also, go head over to Instagram and TikTok. I am super active there and post on Instagram pretty much daily, showing all of Auzzy's personality and our life as an anxious dog with an anxious girl. We hope to see you there, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching and thank you for following along on our journey. Bye, guys.